Hey there everybody, it's Chris Lemig, the self-esteem hypnotist. Thanks for visiting True Nature Hypnotherapy and my YouTube channel here, or my website, wherever you're finding this video. And what I'd like to do today is actually I'm going to do a recap of a Hypnosis NLP tips for anxiety workshop that I just did. So I'm just kind of giving a little streamlined version of all the information that I've covered in that, so that people can, people who have taken the workshop before or, attended in some way can kind of take a look at this and just get the highlights of all the information that we covered. So basically we're just going to kind of dive right in here. We're talking about anxiety. And anxiety is that state where kind of things have gone haywire in the body-mind biofeedback loop. And we're responding to stimulus in such a way that's maybe not quite accurate or appropriate way. Normally, the normal fear response, the fight, flight, or freeze response, is what happens when we encounter something that's dangerous, something that's unfamiliar, where we have to kind of get a little bit of a boost in our body to increase our perceptions, our ability to sort of perceive things, get our heart rate going, get it ready to kind of run or fight or just kind of freeze in place as well. That's also an option. So what happens with anxiety is that the body kind of automatically responds in that way to stimulus in an inappropriate way. So we're talking about developing this fight, flight, or freeze response, maybe for no reason at all, maybe for, just sort of maybe seeing something that reminds us of something that's terrifying or that terrified us in the past, or just maybe, like I say, just for no apparent reason at all, we just feel anxious, we feel wound up, we feel stressed, we feel unable to get out of that cycle of fearful fantasy and fearful projection. So what we're going to do is here I want to share about 5 or 6 hypnosis and NLP techniques that will help you when you're either experiencing full-blown anxiety or you're sensing that that's coming on, and also some ways in which you can prevent that sort of anxiety response from coming on altogether. So these are some wonderful ways that I find to be really effective for myself and also for my clients as well. So the first one that I'd like to share, this one is the 360-degree peripheral vision exercise. And this one's really simple. Doesn't require a whole lot of effort, but maybe a little bit of practice, so you get used to it. I actually had someone tell me about some experience they were having with this, where they were using the muscles in their eyes too much. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, but let's go ahead and do the exercise. So find yourself a nice comfortable space. Take a couple nice deep breaths. And then I want you to go ahead and pick a point, somewhere across the room, on the ceiling, on the wall, opposite you, wherever, any spot, and just kind of focus your attention on that spot. And hold your attention there. And while you're holding your attention there, go ahead and recall a time where you felt anxious, where you had this feeling of anxiety. Maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe pick an experience or a memory that was maybe about a 2 at the most. So we're just going to practice here. We don't want to have, full-blown anxiety right now. We don't want to recall that and get ourselves in any trouble here. We just want to pick a nice, situation, something pretty mild. And go ahead and hold that focus on that point that you've chosen. And now in your next breath and your exhale, just begin to allow your awareness, not your eyes, but your awareness, to begin to notice what's happening to the right and to the left of that focal point. And just begin to take in some of the objects, some of the colors, some of the things that you can see. And take a couple breaths there, and then begin to just gradually allow your awareness to begin to encompass and to begin to become aware of the objects that are further and further to the right and the left of you. And continue to widen that vision, that awareness, until it comes out just to the edge of your peripheral vision. So just to the edge of your peripheral vision. So you can see things off to the left, you can see things off to the right. Begin to become aware of what's there. I'm aware of a lamp right over here. I'm aware of our kitchen right over here. And now maybe use your imagination a little bit and just open up to the possibility that your awareness can even go further behind you, can go beyond that normal boundary of peripheral vision. And just allow your vision, your awareness, to encompass also what is behind you. Again, not using your eyes, using your awareness. Just keeping your eyes forward while allowing your awareness to encompass now everything in front of you, everything to the sides, everything in your peripheral vision, and everything behind you. Just rest there for a moment, not really focusing on any one thing, but just allowing your awareness to encompass all of that as best you can. Okay, so now you can go ahead and come back into your sort of normal way of looking at things, not too focused and not too diffuse maybe, and just kind of check and see how you feel. How does that anxiety, how does that feeling of discomfort, has it decreased a little bit? And you might notice some different changes in your body going on, and you might notice like maybe a little bit of relaxation happening. So this is a technique that you can apply when you're feeling anxious, when you're starting to feel that sort of that spinning out of control, and just kind of stop yourself, do this focusing exercise, and then allow your awareness to spread out. And what happens here is that anxiety and worry and stress and all of these things tend to be a very narrow and very focused sort of way of being and a way of perceiving things, where we're really squeezing very tightly and we're holding on and saying like, this is an emergency, this is horrible, you know, all of these fearful thoughts and fantasies start coming up, and we can't seem to sort of let go of that. And this is an opportunity for us to cut through that feedback loop and to allow our minds to actually open up and be a little bit more spacious. And naturally what's going to happen is that when our vision does that, our body will begin to calm down. We'll notice our breathing slowing down. We'll notice our heart rate start to go down. And what we were originally anxious about might even dissipate and dissolve right before our eyes. So that's the first exercise that I wanted to share. The next one that I'd like to talk about is what I call the jaw dropper exercise. And now this one here, now the peripheral vision exercise you can actually do in public, and people probably aren't going to know what you're doing at all. They're not going to be aware of what you're doing, except that you're maybe kind of staring for a few moments into one particular direction. But it doesn't really call too much attention to you or anything. So that can be a really good exercise for when you're in public, when you're finding yourself feeling that anxiety coming on. This exercise, the jaw dropper, is a little more, let's say, obvious, you know, that you're actually doing something here. So you might want to save this one for doing it when you are alone, when you have some privacy, when you're either at home or can find a place in your workplace, or when you're out in public, you know, a place where you can do this where people aren't going to see what you're doing, just because of just the nature of, you know, it's going to be obvious that you're doing some sort of weird exercise. So now if you're not worried about that, then go ahead and have at it on the bus or wherever. But what you're going to basically do, and it's very simple, again, just kind of look forward ahead. You're going to feel that anxiety. Allow yourself to feel, you know, a 1 or a 2 level of anxiety on a scale of 1 to 10 right now. Bring that up, feel that in your body, experience that anxiety. Notice where it's happening in your body, notice where it's happening in your mind. And then go ahead and let your jaw begin to drop. Just like this, just let it drop. And then when you think that it's dropped about as much as you can let it drop on its own, go ahead and just let yourself, you know, kind of push that jaw down, open even further. So, like that. And then when you think you've pushed it down just as far as you can, just go ahead and just push it down just a little bit. Let it drop a little bit further. It's okay that you're putting a little bit of effort into this, not a tremendous amount of effort, not a huge amount of strain, just imagining it dropping, helping it drop as far as it will go. and just allow that feeling of relaxation. You're going to start to feel that jaw relaxing as it drops. Allow that relaxation to flow throughout your whole body. Maybe send it up over the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. And just hold that expression of your jaw dropped for just a moment or two. Breathing naturally through the nose, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And again, this is an exercise that you might be able to do a couple of times. Bring your jaw back up, let your mouth close, see how you feel, check in with where you were feeling that anxiety, see how it's changed, see how it's lessened, how the intensity of it maybe has changed. And then go ahead and do that exercise again. And you can do it 2 or 3 times in succession until you start to begin to feel that the relaxation becoming stronger in your body and that anxiety beginning to dissipate and dissolve. Okay. The next exercise, which is a really good one, I find is this one works really well with kids. So if you have any nieces, nephews, children, people in your life who are teenagers, kids who are struggling with anxiety at school, test anxiety, things like that, or just feeling uncomfortable going and being away from home, especially in these times that we're in right now. If they are able to go to school, there might be a heightened levels of anxiety. This is a good one for kids, but it's also great for adults. And this one is called crossing the hemispheres. So what you want to do is get yourself a ball. A tennis ball works well. You can use an apple. You can use, you can use any object that's lying around. You can use a pen. Anything small that you're going to be able to hold in one hand. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring our arms out in front of us like this. Okay. And you're going to hold the object in one hand. And then we're just going to pass the object back and forth from hand to hand like this. So I'm going to pass it to my right hand, and I'm going to let that arm fully extend out to the side of me right here. I'm going to bring it back and pass it to this hand here, and then my right hand will take the place of the middle hand here. Okay? And again, before we start this, as we're practicing, bring up a feeling of anxiety. Recall an experience in which you felt anxious, and on a scale of 1 to 10, somewhere around a 2. Okay, so nothing too difficult, nothing that's really causing you to hyperventilate or feel those really difficult and unpleasant feelings of panic or anything like that, but just something that makes you feel a little bit anxious. Okay, we're just going to practice here. So bring that feeling up, and then go ahead and kind of match the speed of your passing back and forth to your feeling of anxiety, and maybe to your breath, and maybe for a 2, maybe it's kind of moving like this, maybe it's a little bit kind of fast. And then when you get the feel of that happening, and that's going pretty smoothly, maybe your arm will start slowing down a little bit. I don't know when. But you'll notice that your arm will begin to slow down, and maybe your breath will begin to slow down as well. And just go ahead and just allow that action, that moving back and forth, passing back and forth, to slow down. Do that for a moment more. Moving very slowly now. There we go. And now just go ahead and check in and see how you feel again. Check your body, check your mind. Check the quality of your thoughts right now. Check your breathing. How does your breathing feel? And what's happening here is that when we get caught up in a state of anxiety or panic, generally what happens is that one side of the brain or another, either the right or left hemisphere, is going to be working overtime to the exclusion of the other. And it's going to be kind of messing up our equilibrium. So what this does is this actually makes a connection between the right and left hemispheres. As we're passing the ball or the object back and forth, it actually creates or helps to create that connection again between the right and left hemispheres of the brain, allowing us to get back into a state of equilibrium. cutting through that, again, that fear response, that limbic system response of fight, flight, or freeze. So that's another one that you can try. Do it at least once, maybe a couple of times, again, stop after a while, check in again with your body. Where are you at? Where does that anxiety, where is it coming up? Has it lessened at all? Has it intensified maybe even? And you can go ahead and you can go through this exercise 2 or 3 times until that anxiety begins to subside and dissolve and dissipate, okay? So that brings us to another nice exercise that we can do, and this one involves a little bit more self-hypnosis, where we are going to work on creating for ourselves what we can call a protective bubble or shield. And again, what we want to do is use this kind of an exercise. This is actually a preventative exercise as well as something to use as a remedy in the moment. And what we're going to do is we're going to take ourselves into a relaxed state of trance, of hypnotic trance. And once we get there, we're going to do a little bit of guided imagery for ourselves, and I'll walk you through that here. And you can listen to this a couple times if you want, but otherwise it's really quite simple, and you can really allow yourself to use your own imagination here. But basically what we're going to do is just go ahead again, find a nice comfortable space, comfortable place, whether you're sitting either on the floor, on the couch, on the floor, whatever's comfortable for you, and allow yourself to just begin to relax. And maybe what you can do is you can again pick a point on the wall in front of you, or the ceiling, or someplace across the room. Pick a focal point and allow yourself to stare at that for a moment. Really focus on that until you begin to feel that your eyes are starting to become already now a little bit fatigued, maybe a little achy. And you'll probably notice at some point that your eyelids will begin to blink. And that's a sign actually that hypnosis is already beginning to occur. And then on this next breath, just go ahead and take a nice inhale. And on the exhale, allow your eyes to close. Just allow your eyes to close and begin to relax. Bring your attention to your eyelids, noticing all the tiny muscles around your eyelids are becoming loose and limp. So loose and limp and relaxed that you just don't want to open your eyes. And you notice how good it feels to keep your eyes closed. In fact, your eyes feel so good being closed that even if you tried to open your eyes, even if you wanted to open your eyes, you just wouldn't be able to. They feel so good being closed and relaxed and loose and limp that even if you tried to open your eyes, they just wouldn't open. And you can go ahead and give them a little bit of a check. Go ahead and try to open your eyes and find that you cannot. In fact, the more you try to open your eyes, the more relaxed they become. The more you try to open your eyes, the more relaxed they become. That's right. And now go ahead and stop trying and allow that feeling of relaxation around your eyes to flow up over the top of your head, all the way down the back of your neck, down through your shoulders, through your torso, all the way down through your hips, into your legs, your knees, all the way down to the tips of your toes. And with each breath you take, you notice you're becoming more and more relaxed, going even deeper into trance. Allow yourself to enjoy this experience, enjoy this feeling of relaxation as it continues to deepen more and more with each breath. And now I want you to go ahead and imagine yourself walking now, feeling quite relaxed, quite at ease. Imagine yourself walking upright and erect into a beautiful, safe, calm place. And go ahead and allow your subconscious mind to decide what place that is. Trust in your subconscious mind to pick the place that is just right for you. It can be any place at all. It can be a place in nature. It can be a room. It can be a place you've been before. It could be a place you've wanted to go for some time, or it can be someplace completely made up in the imagination. Just trust in your subconscious mind. Trust in the unconscious to take you exactly where you need to go in this moment. And feeling very relaxed now, go ahead and open up your senses and notice all of the different things that you can perceive in this calm, safe place. The colors, the sounds, the smells, the sensations. Open up your senses. Really make this place real. And now feeling very relaxed, very at peace, very at ease, very calm, and very safe in this wonderful place that your subconscious mind has brought you to. Go ahead and imagine that there is a shield or a bubble surrounding you now, just surrounding your entire body, all the way around you, all the way above you, behind you, in front, below. And this bubble or shield can be made of any material you want. It can be made out of energy. It can be made out of a strong, bulletproof glass. Whatever it is completely impenetrable. And you can feel and you can trust that this bubble or this shield protects you now. And that feeling of calm and that peace and that ease that you're experiencing right now just continues to grow and grow as you feel more and more confident that this bubble, this shield is protecting you and that you can rely upon it. You can put your trust and faith in it. And know that you can bring this shield with you anywhere you go. You can imagine it in just an instant, anywhere you are, in any situation. Trusting that just by closing your eyes and imagining this shield, you can feel this feeling of safety, of peace, and of ease that you're experiencing right now. And whenever you experience situations that bring up those old uncomfortable feelings, you can bring this shield along with you. You can turn it on in an instant, capturing this feeling right now that you're experiencing of calm and peace and ease. And then allow yourself to experience that for a moment or two. And when you're ready, on the count of 3, go ahead and open your eyes and you'll come back to normal waking consciousness. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Go ahead and open your eyes, feeling refreshed, feeling safe, feeling calm in every way. So again, that's a basic self-hypnosis technique. And basically what we're doing is we're going to get some guide ourselves into a state of relaxation of body and mind, and then use our imagination to create that experience of and that give us that mental prop to increase our feelings of safety, increase our feelings of being okay. Okay, so give that one a try. Practice that a little bit. Practice it on a daily basis, and you can practice that one again, not necessarily when you're in in full-blown anxiety mode. You can work on that while you're feeling actually quite okay, and so that way you've practiced it, and then when those situations arise that give you that when that anxiety is coming up, you can just pop right in there and go, oh, wait a minute, let me go into that calm, safe place, let me bring up my shield, remind myself that I'm safe, everything's going to be okay. All right, so that's a really great technique as well. Another technique that I find to be really helpful too is to just, when you recognize that you are spinning down that rabbit hole of anxiety, go ahead and just remember to remind yourself about everything that's not that. Remind yourself of everything that is not anxiety. Okay? This can be just anything at all. Anything that is not anxiety, you can just notice it. It can be things objects in your immediate area. It can be, oh, there's a television. Well, that's not anxiety. There's a speaker. That's not anxiety. There's a wall. It's a white wall. That's not anxiety. And go ahead and remember all of the things that are not anxiety in your life and in the world right now. The trees outside, they're not anxiety. The sky is not anxiety. The clouds in the sky aren't anxiety. And just go ahead and remind yourself of all the things that are not that, all the things that are not anxiety. And do that until, again, that feeling of anxiety begins to dissolve and dissipate and just disappear on its own. And that's a technique that's used in all kinds of different therapeutic settings as well. EMDR, just regular talk therapy, any sort of trauma therapy or any anxiety treatment. You're going to find that a therapist is going to use that technique in some way or another. I've noticed that when people are, sort of re-experiencing a particularly difficult memory, it can be helpful to just kind of pull them out, disassociate a little bit from that. So it can be just a really helpful kind of refocusing technique. Which brings us to one of my, to the last technique that I'm going to talk about here. And again, this is one of my favorites. It's an emotional freedom technique, EFT it's called, or a pattern interruption as well it can be called. There's different ways of doing it. I'm going to teach you the most simple way of doing it. This one doesn't require hardly any mindfulness or presence at all. You just have to know I'm feeling anxious, and then immediately just go ahead and pick a spot. I like to do this right here, just kind of with 2 fingers, just begin tapping on my wrist underneath. And you're going to just start tapping and just say some sort of a mantra. And this one usually works pretty well for anxiety. You can say, like, I am feeling anxious and I'm totally safe and everything's okay. I'm feeling anxious and everything's okay. I'm feeling anxious and I'm safe and everything's okay. I'm feeling anxious and I'm safe and everything's okay. And the key here is to use the word and, okay? So I am anxious, acknowledging the anxiety. It's happening. It's okay. That's happening. That's just what's going on right now in the moment. So you're acknowledging that, and at the same time, you're safe, you're okay, everything's gonna be fine. I'm anxious, and everything's okay, and I'm safe. I'm anxious, and everything's okay, and I'm safe. And just go ahead and do that until, again, that feeling of anxiety begins to subside, until your breath begins to slow down, your heart rate begins to go down, and you can kind of regroup and reground yourself, okay? So those are some of the techniques that I have in my toolbox for myself and that I offer to my clients. There's others as well, of course. And of course, when we're doing more hypnotherapy work, we're going deep into the subconscious mind and working with and resolving any issues that are there that are causing the anxiety, that are causing us to hold on to this pattern of being that once was actually quite an effective solution for whatever problem that we came up with it for, but is now no longer serving us in the way that that we want, and it's actually become a negative state, a state that's actually not bringing us any happiness, that's not really protecting us, that's not doing the job that it was intended to do. And so in hypnosis, we're able to work with the subconscious parts of the mind that need a little bit of extra convincing that, hey, you know what, that worked in the past, but there's a new strategy that we can come up with. There's a new way of going about doing things and being in the world, and that's how we find healing for ourselves. So that's it for right now for this this sort of recap of the workshop. I'll be doing this workshop on a regular basis, continuing to refine it and learn from y'all, my clients and the people who join in on this workshop, and getting their feedback. I really enjoy this one because I think that it's really helpful. It's really helpful for me. It's really helpful for the people who join. And this can be a wonderful way to give yourself and empower yourself to sort of take back some control over your life when it feels like you've lost that control. So thanks again for watching. Again, my name is Chris Lemig, the Self-Esteem Hypnotist. You can check out my website at www.truenaturehypnotherapy.com. If this happens to be on YouTube that you're watching this video and you'd like, you can subscribe to my channel, and I am putting more and more videos up, and like this one, with some very practical and useful hypnosis and NLP techniques, and just little tips on how to live a happier, more healthier and more joyful life. So again, thanks so much. Take care and be well.